Welcome to the Rocktoberfest preview. I'm the informer, Andrew Anderson, and I'm joined by the difference, Tyler Daniels.
Thank you, Andy. What an amazing event this looks like. We've got coming up October 11th, Friday night, a huge card, 2 championship matches, a whole heap more.
With that in mind, let's run through the matches to go through all of the action for Friday night. First up at Rocktoberfest, we have got Trey versus Matt Hayter.
Trey and Matt Hayter. How did this come about? This was not something I saw happening a few weeks ago. Where did this come from?
So everything kind of came to a head in just a moment when at RCW Live 51, Trey attempted to cash in his key to the city and was intercepted somewhat by Matt Hayter.
Would we say intercepted? Because I don't know so much that Matt Hayter even was aware that Trey was trying to do that. Because Katie came in, he was a ball of fire doing whatever he was. My understanding is Matt turned around, saw the key, picked it up, and suddenly we had two people seeing very, very different perspectives here.
That might be the case, but Trey sees it as if Matt Hayter is interfering in his business, and that business being cashing in the key to the city.
Well, look, he couldn't cash it in that night. Who knows what might happen? Prediction for this match?
Look, I'm kind of rooting for Trey. I hope that he gets the win. I think that he's been on a bit of a roll, especially after winning Key to the City.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe if he has the confidence to win this match, he'll implement that confidence later on in the night when and possibly cash in the key.
So you're saying Trey could be in for the biggest night of his career. He could get over the ego of Matt Hayter and then potentially even unlock his opportunity at that title later in the night. That's
Huge.
You've got to remember, A, he's going to get past Matt Hayter, and maybe he does or doesn't, who knows, but even if he does try and unlock that, don't forget Matt Hayter is going to be in the corner of one Chris Basso in that main event.
Maybe if Katie can take care of Matt Hayter during the first match, then Matt Hayter won't play into the main event.
I don't know that he's going to get over the ego of Matt Hayter. He's been on a tear, good luck to him, but I don't see him getting over Matt Hayter. That said, this match has some serious implications for what may or may not happen later in the evening.
Absolutely. So the second match of the evening, we have one Zack Sabbath versus Tony Toro.
Now this is something I'm interested to see because I'm not sure Tony Toro is riding high. Tony Toro has done so much since he's come back to Riot City Wrestling, and I don't know what Zack Sabbath's really got to play for here.
We saw what Tony Toro did to Selena. He hit her in the face with a ladder. Selena is now out. She doesn't want anything to do with Riot City. Nothing to do with professional wrestling. And on top of that, he pushed Mickey Fortune out of the ring, and that's another woman who was injured in the same match, same night. What do you think of that?
Well, look, I think you got to go back to what Tony Toro said in your interview. Men, women, doesn't matter. He will step up and stand up to anyone that doesn't matter. And look, to Zack, unfortunately, long hair like that, if he happens to see Zack from behind, he may just mistake him for a woman, and it could be the same thing all over again.
Tyler, Zack Sabbath is out for blood. If you've seen anything on social media lately, you will have seen my interview with Tony Toro and Zack Sabbath storming in, livid, ready to kill someone. He is ready to take Tony Toro down.
Look, you said that, and he was very, very upset, angry, just annoyed, all those things, absolutely agree. Is that going to be to his detriment? Is he going to be over the top? Is he not going to be in the right mindset? Is that going to play into Tony Toro's hands? Has Tony Toro got into his head?
I think that Zack will be ruthless, and I think that he has too much on the line to defend, and it goes way beyond titles. It goes beyond anything that we've seen from them in the ring before. He's going to win. He's going to defeat Tony Toro.
Look, you say that, I see Tony Toro, a guy who knows what he's about, going in to do a job. I see Zack Sabbath going in there with just emotion running wild. I don't think that's going to play well for Zack. I've known Zack a long time. I don't think the emotion's going to run well for him. My pick's Tony Toro. All right, so the next one, Andy. This one's interesting. This one is an absolute just throw your hands up in the air and watch and just spectacular potentially a spectacular match coming out. A fatal four-way. We've got four guys, very hungry. Who's in it? What have we got?
We've got the blue chip athlete, Dean Brady.
Yes.
Kit Condor, the high flyer. Little Onyx, hype beast. And Mike Boomer.
Right, so you've got four relatively different styles there. Tell me about Dean Brady. What are your thoughts?
So Dean Brady looking very strong lately. Arguably the biggest guy in this match.
Certainly the biggest guy in this match. Pound for pound, probably the strongest guy in Riot City Wrestling at the moment.
Kit Condor, high flying luchador style.
Absolutely. Had some big matches recently.
Absolutely. Royce Chambers and Havoc at both of our last two events.
Absolutely. Now, didn't get over those guys. However, you've got to think that just being in the ring with guys like that is going to do wonders for him. Experience, confidence, knowledge, all of those things that he's going to take forward. You did mention potentially one of the future stars of Riot City. All
of the experience that he's been gaining lately is so positive for this company. Next, we have Little Onyx, Hype Beast.
Hype Beast. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not sure if I don't know if it's a commercial thing, whether it's Hype McFeast and it's actually a McDonald's meal. I don't know much about this guy at all.
To be honest, he's only had a couple of matches here. He's worked in other companies around South Australia and Australia. He's unpredictable. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to this match. Absolutely.
Okay. And lastly?
Mike Boomer.
Okay, now Mike Boomer I know plenty about. I've known Mike for many, many years. One thing I want to bring up, we saw it at the last the last main event. Mike Boomer, brutally attacked. Talk me through that. What happened? Have we ever found out what was the story?
As yet, we don't know anything about those masked men. I was conducting an interview with our general manager, Luke Santamaria.
So you weren't one of the masked men?
I was not.
You are probably the only person who can say outright was not part of that.
No, myself and Luke Santamaria.
I'm not ruling Santamaria out. Anyway, Mike Boomer. I know he has been furious about this. He has wanted to get to know the identity of this. I don't know if he's done that. Who knows? Is this his Inquisition match? Is he blaming these three guys?
It could be one of these guys. It could be two of these guys.
It could be all three of those guys. Talk me through it. Who you pick? Those four guys are who you picking? Who you got?
So, we've got the wild card, we've got the high flyer, we've got Mike Boomer, and
the blue chip athlete?
The blue chip athlete, Dean Brady. Dean Brady's my pick for this one. He has been suplexing people left and right. He's looking so strong. His skills are amazing. And again, also in that conversation about the future of Riot City Wrestling.
Look, absolutely. Me personally, I'm putting my money on Mike Boomer only because Mike Boomer has been around for a long time. He has wrestled many different styles. He's not the biggest guy, but he's incredibly quick, and he has wrestled a lot of big men in the past. He knows his way around the ring. He knows how to wrestle high flyer. He can go technical. He knows how to counteract big men. I'm putting my money on Boomer.
Either way, this is a match to look forward to.
Indeed.
Fourth match of the night, we have Havoc, accompanied by Benjamin Rosenthal, against the South African superstar Steve Miller, accompanied by Jimmy C, Team Sassy.
Absolutely. Looking forward to this one. What I'm looking forward to most, of course, is seeing Sean Fuster dance to Team Sassy's intro music.
As am I. I think that is going to be the highlight of our Rocktoberfest.
I'm certainly hoping it will be. As for the match, so as you said, Havoc, the Master of Mayhem, the old guard, if you will, has been around, experienced, has so much respect. This guy can hurt you in a million ways, and he's coming to the ring by Ben Rosenthal, who cares, because I really have no respect for him whatsoever, and Steve Miller, the South African superstar, of course, with Jimmy C. Team Sassy, an amazing combination. I was skeptical, however, they have proven to be incredibly successful.
Absolutely. I think with Jimmy C at his side, Steve Miller is potentially undefeatable.
Well, look, you say undefeatable. Don't forget, Havoc is undefeated since coming to Riot City Wrestling.
That's true. That's true.
Although, the point you're about to make, key to the city, we saw an incident.
Steve Miller about to unhook the key. He's at the top of the ladder and looks down and sees Jimmy C being ambushed by Havoc and Ben Rosenthal.
Look, you say that. Two things. Steve Miller, eye on the prize, mate. Don't get distracted. Can't blame anyone else for that. The other side to that is, as Havoc and Rosenthal have been saying forever, no respect for the old guard. You take respect, you earn respect any way you can. I'm sorry, he should have taken the key. You worry about Jimmy later.
Havoc and Rosenthal had no business being there. They were not part of the match. Steve Miller was about to take the key, about to win the match, and he sees his friend being attacked.
Mate, that's on Miller. Miller still could have grabbed the key, in my opinion. What we have seen since then, though, is obviously a back and forth in social media and some very interesting incidents happening between some face-offs between Team Sassy and Havoc and Rosenthal, and one Sean Fuster right in the middle.
Thankfully, Sean has his best friends, Steve Miller and Jimmy C, to defend him.
Best friends.
Yeah. Haven't you seen the social media?
I would say Sean would furiously dispute that. I wouldn't. Sean would.
Look, those guys hang out all the time. You see videos of them going to the movies together. You see Jimmy C and Steve Miller coming to Sean's defense.
Look, maybe. Look, you say best friends. I think that's dubious. For me, who you got in the match?
Steve Miller, all the way, South African superstar.
Well, only if he maintains his focus, and I don't know that he can do that with Havoc, the Master of Mayhem.
Next is the first of our championship matches of the night. We have got the RCW Tag Team Championships on the line. And this is a huge match, and I mean that literally and figuratively. Gods and Monsters up against the Nations.
Absolutely. You say huge. Grim, Big Brody Marshall, two huge men in their own right, absolutely. However, they're going against two very, very crafty, experienced guys who have tagged together for a very long time. Jack Bonza, Mick Moretti. I think Gods and Monsters could be in trouble.
Look, Gods and Monsters, both of them are heavyweight champions in their own right. They have both held the RCW championship previously. Mick Moretti might be crafty. Jack Bonza might be experienced. But I just can't see them coming up well against Gods and Monsters.
You got to remember, at our last event, we saw Mick Moretti take on both members of Gods and Monsters by himself. Now, he got a victory over Big Brody Marshall, and he went within a hair's breadth of getting over the Viking. A guy that can go that close by himself on both of them, now has his partner by his side. I think Gods and Monsters have their work cut out.
That's two singles matches for Mick Moretti. Tag team wrestling is very different.
Well, the Nations, as I said, work amazingly well as a team. Gods and Monsters have got huge moves. Look, we saw them destroy the Pariah. In fact, we haven't seen the Pariah since Gods and Monsters beat them for the belts at Long Live the King. So, the power, the might, the size, all those things, I get it. Gods and Monsters bring that experience, understanding, and crafty workmanship. Moretti and Bonza, for me, we could have new tag team champions.
I'm saying the power and the might will win over against the Nations. I've got Gods and Monsters for this one. Our next match is brother versus brother, and sibling rivalry is bubbling to a fever pitch.
Absolutely. Brother versus brother. The rivalry, as you speak of. We've got two guys who have known each other forever. You don't get any closer than this. We know that family fights, they argue. What we haven't seen is the brothers come back together.
We did see them together in the ring at Key to the City. Jet Armstrong versus Nick Armstrong. Jet picked up the win, and it should have been the end of it. Jet went to shake Nick's hand at the end of the match, and Nick decided to flip him off.
Absolutely. Nick was not impressed. Nick didn't see it the same way as Jet. He wants some sort of redemption. He wants another shot at this. Demanded that he gets a chance to actually get a victory over Jet. It's interesting. I was there the night this all kicked off. We saw what happened at Long Live the King. Jet was having a wonderful time. Nick not so much, until it all went pear-shaped. So look, the way I see it here, we've got Jet Armstrong's got a victory. Nick Armstrong is absolutely sick and tired of living in the shadow of his brother. Now, how on earth he lives in that shadow when Jet's that size, I'll never know. However, he's sick of it. What he wants is a win, a victory. He needs that redemption.
Look, Jet is on a tear. He is going to use the momentum from their first match, and he is going to walk all over his brother. Jet Armstrong is going to win this one.
Look, after that, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens from the brothers from there.
I hope that after this match, it settles everything between them. They get the band back together, as it were, and go after those RCW Tag Team Champions.
Time will tell.
And our main event of the night.
The big one.
We've got the RCW Championship on the line. Champion, Rocky Monero, with the challenger, world-class Chris Basso.
Two amazing athletes. This is going to be a huge match. I can see these guys going for a long time. I can see neither of them pulling any punches. This is going to be huge. This match is potentially a match of the year candidate.
Absolutely. We've got Chris Basso. He was the first man to win the RCW Championship at HQ.
Also has the opportunity to potentially become the only man to win it twice at HQ.
And don't forget, Chris Basso has a trump card. He's got Matt Hayter in his corner. Now, Basso defeated Hayter to become the #1 contender for the RCW Championship. And at Live 50, when Rocky Monero paired Hayter and Basso together, his plan backfired and pushed those two guys together. And they've developed some kind of respect for each other. And Matt Hayter is now calling himself Chris Basso's best friend.
Oh, I can't see that being successful. That's going to be interesting. I don't know that Chris Basso feels the same way about that, but you're talking about Rocky Monero, A-Town's finest, the big draw, the man that knows how to wrestle, outsmart you, can do whatever he needs to do, and will do whatever it takes. We saw him earlier this year beat Chris Basso when he outsmarted him, made Chris Basso believe he had an injury, and then picked up the quick and easy win. And a win's a win, as we saw.
There is no respect in winning that way. And don't forget that on the night that Rocky Monero unlocked his key to the city, Chris Basso beat him earlier in the night.
Yeah, he beat him early in the night. Rocky Monero walked out with the belt though. I'd still call that a victory for Rocky. The other question I've got for you, you said Matt Hayter, the trump card is going to be in the corner of Chris Basso. What is Matt Hayter going to do from the corner? He's not in the match. He's not in the ring. What's he going to do?
Matt Hayter is going to stop Rocky Monero from employing those underhanded tactics that we've seen from him in the past.
I don't know that that's the case. I think Rocky Monero could out-wrestle Chris Basso if he had to. I think he can outsmart Chris Basso if he has to. And if you want to put Matt Hayter in the mix as well, I think he can outsmart the ego as well.
I can't see Rocky Monero walking out of HQ this Friday night as champion. The way that Chris Basso has been wrestling lately, and with his best friend Matt Hayter in his corner, he's undefeatable.
I don't see it myself. I think it's Rocky Monero all night long. This is going to be a huge card though. We've got an amazing jam-packed show, top to bottom, huge night of wrestling. Going to be some just events, physical violence all night long. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait. And you're going to be there?
Avoiding you all night long.
I'm going to be there as well. I look forward to it. This Friday, October 11th at HQ, RCW Rocktoberfest.
Fatal 4-way, Dean Brady versus Kit Condor versus Little Onyx versus Mike Boomer.
Katie Trey versus Matt Hayter.
Havoc with Ben Rosenthal versus Steve Miller and Jimmy C.
Zack Sabbath versus Toro.
Jet Armstrong versus Nick Armstrong.
RCW Tag Team Championship challenges the Nations versus Champions, Gods and Monsters. RCW Championship challenger Chris Basso versus champion Rocky Monero.